In this lesson, we're going to be looking at nonlinear relationships and how to manipulate that data to be a linear relationship. This is an experiment that we did where we looked at the effect of the depth of water on the speed of a wave in that water. And just looking at our data here, you can see that it doesn't appear to be a linear relationship, especially as we would expect it to go through the origin. Now I can go up here and choose linear fit, and you can see that it does hit all of my uncertainties barely, but it's not going through the origin. So my guess would be that this is not some sort of a linear relationship. So we can go back up to Analyze and choose Curve Fit, and then look at different curved equations to see how well they fit our data. For example, if we looked at some sort of a quadratic, you can see that the quadratic does fit fairly well, but we're not going through our origin, or we might come down to some sort of an inverse exponent and try it, and you can see that it fits the same way, where earlier we saw that it definitely was not some sort of a linear relationship. So I'm going to stick with a quadratic here, and you can see that that does fit my data very well as far as what I've collected. Now for IB, we need to be able to manipulate this data into some sort of a linear relationship and then use the slope of that line for some purpose. So what I'm going to do now is create a new data set from my existing data that I've got. I'm going to go up to Data and choose New Calculated Column. Now, looking at my results here, and since it's a quadratic, I'm thinking that this has something to do with a square. So I'm going to try, first of all, wave speed squared. And I'll just call this WSS for short. And for my units, since I'm looking at meters per second, and then I'm squaring all of that, this would then be meters squared per second squared. And now I've got my units set up. Now, to calculate this data in this column, we've got numerous functions that we can choose. In later lessons, we'll be looking at many of these. But for today, in this, we're just simply going to be looking at the wave speed times the wave speed, and click Done there. Now, to see that new data, all I have to do is go over here and click on my label, and you can see I could choose wave speed, everything that I've already created. And here I have the wave speed squared, and click that. And you can see that does look like it's going to be a linear relationship, and it does look like it's going to go fairly close through the origin. Now you'll notice that I've not propagated my uncertainties for my wave speed squared. That would be something that I would need to do, and then go back and add another column so that I could then include my uncertainties for the square of my wave speed. But for now, if we go to Analyze and Model and choose a linear relationship, don't be alarmed if you don't see this wave, or excuse me, if you don't see the line. All you have to do is zoom out a little bit, double click, enable the line drag, and now I can drag it down where I can see it, and then I can zoom back in again and then start to manipulate my data. And I can raise my line of best fit up to something about like this, and then drag the whole thing down. And within my uncertainties, it does look like this is going to be a linear relationship and a direct relationship between the depth of the water and the square of the wave speed.